Alright, I want to give you an update. The first time I did this, I did not hook up the audio, so it was very quiet. So here's take two. This is my town. As you can see, they reset it. It's been reset to 31 days, just like they said they would. Give us all of February, plus whatever's left in the month of January. And the town did not blow up again. So um, this is a continuation of the first blow up of the town, and as you can see, it's quite different. So 24 to 72 hours is what it took. A lot of what I said has been said 3 times now, and sometimes 3 times is what it takes. So this is the almost final rendition. Right now we're working on 6 cakes, and the cakes are the issue with making cakes and dealing with the cows and the chickens is trying to get the chickens not to eat all of the feed and trying to make sure that you have enough feed for the cows so that you're not cutting short one or the other. So I have a lot set up right now because I want to really create a lot of cakes. So 1 out of 3 eggs. We'll see how long that takes. And right now I'm making fuel. I just made another sale. Petroleum. I have 2 fuel storages right now. I'm deleting this one, and this is my new one. I created a freight pier and a trade pier. Trade pier is automatic auto sale. So if you've never seen any of these contraptions, this one you need 100 of each item. So a lot of people will do wineries and they'll sell grapes, 100 at a bushel, and it costs the same fuel as it does for 10. So that's one of the benefits of this. However, it also takes a lot of storage, so you need a lot of storage space. So this is, like I said, the final 95% complete of this town. So zoom in, you can see that my ATVs are pretty much all established. I have a few more ATVs I think that I might add. um, I know I have some tractors I want to add. I had at least 13 of them. Right now I'm a few shy, so the lumberjacks, the loggers, these guys are really good to have. And this was where my depot was, my vehicle was, before I deleted it. And now I'm just running off a ship, so it's going from ship to ship, ship to land, sea to land. And the forklift, if you've seen the forklift guy operate, he's really fast, especially when it's blacktop road, paved road. And he's cruising. It takes him seconds to get from point A to point B. And he's making petroleum because I sold all my fuel. It's not that I'm running low. I sold it all because I was trying to get rid of this fuel storage. However, it hasn't worked out in my favor. Um, he keeps on creating more crude oil. It's not that big a deal. I'm just going to make more petroleum, then refine it into gasoline. And then once I get enough fuel, then I can take a break. But you get 14,000 plus for the fuel. So there's lessons learned in this. This is pretty much everyone knows about this stuff. This is where you grow your crops, the wheat, the sugarcane, the trees, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get the water in right where you want it, the salt to grow. Salt seems to grow a lot better on the ocean. It's the only thing that seems to grow better on the ocean of these products. The trees don't grow as well, the sugarcane doesn't grow as well, the wheat doesn't grow as well near the ocean, but the salt really does. However, it's kind of interesting where you still need to have ponds next to the ocean. I thought maybe it's the ocean, so you wouldn't need to have any extra ponds or water. It would grow self-sufficient, but it still needs water. So make sure that you add water if you do that. The tractors are pretty much all in alignment. I have one more I'm going to add, and right now I'm going to shift these guys down. Once this is done, because this was a road, kind of like on this side. This was just a road, and then it was kind of dead space. So I wanted to check out what the trade pier was and what the freight pier was. So now I know, and when you first set up the freight pier, it costs energy, but if you put them next to the power plant, it doesn't require any energy because they utilize the energy from the power plant. So free labor. But yeah, I'm going to move these guys down because I'm only going to need 2 when I'm finished. So move the oil pump, this one over here, and then move the forklift operator down here, and then create a couple more tractors right here. And then eventually take these oil pumps out. You know, right now they're just making excess. And it's better to have them than not to have them. One of the cool things about the lumber mill, if you put him down here next to the water pump and the power plant, he doesn't require to have any energy or water drums. He just gets the wood. And if you put him in a good spot, the lumberjacks will actually bring the wood to him, so he doesn't have to go anywhere. So he literally sits there. Lumberjacks are so fast that they are bringing him wood without him even moving. And I would show you again, however, I've got like 15 lumber ready to go for the next projects. Here's an auto sale, so it's working again. It goes right on the boat. The boat takes off if you've never seen, and it goes out into the great blue wide yonder. And then it turns around and comes back. So when you're building a house, building the Town Star, especially in the beginning, you want to have extra builders. If you can afford them, as soon as you can afford them, 2 to 3, 5 is optimal because it usually takes about 5 wood, 5 of everything to build what is required. So if you have them working in unison, they will do it lickety split, you know. So the amount of time it takes for one to go to point A to point B, all 5 of them will go to point B in the same amount of time. So if you have just 5 wood that are needed, it'll be set up within that amount of time that it takes one. So it's really good to know and to set them up out of the way so that when you're done with them, you can just get rid of them and put in whatever you want to put in and not destroy the town. And that's what I learned. And not interrupt the growth of other parts of your garden, your vegetation. So production isn't affected from that. So the lessons learned: don't run out of fuel, and make sure that if you're going to do this really fast in 24 to 72 hours, that you pay close attention to the moves you make. And if you make mistakes, they may be irreversible, because sometimes you'll delete something. One of the things I found out were the lumberjacks were going to sleep. Not these guys, the other guys. Well, these guys too. The other guys, the rookies, they were all going to sleep initially, about 5 or 6 of them over on this side. And so I started to delete one at a time because I figured if they're not needed, then I'll just delete them. So as soon as I deleted one, there was no hiccup. Deleted 2, deleted 3, deleted 5. There seemed to be no problem. Then all of a sudden, about 20 minutes later, there was a huge problem with production. Everything slowed down to a snail, which is kind of interesting because they were all going to sleep and there's plenty of trees to be harvested, plenty of stuff to be done. And there's some things with this Town Star I just do not understand. Like the chickens will go from here to there and they'll beat the cows, even though the cows are closer, maybe 2 to 3 spaces from there. So I've done a lot of things. That's why I'm just adding 3 chickens right now, and I put them side to side because the chickens will actually have to get the back end before they'll go all the way over just to get the food. The chickens, or the cows, the chickens just have to touch touch that feeder. You'll see. The cows will have to go all the way over, halfway, at least halfway over, if not 3/4, just to get it. And the chickens will just touch it with their beaks and they'll get it. So they're pretty fast and pretty cunning. And right now I want more eggs than I want milk. So we got 7 cakes now, which production is really good because before I was selling butter. I sold some butter because the eggs just weren't being harvested. I had a milk barn on this side, and I put the chicken coops in the back to slow them down, but I think it slowed them down too much. Now I opened it up, deleted the cow here, and put in a trough here, and now I have 3 and 3. So we'll see if that works. The last time I did 4 and 2, and the chicken coops on angles, and I still could not get the right distance and the right formula for, enough milk and not too many eggs. So that's the biggest problem with this is the chickens and the eggs. Chickens and the cows. So the windmills, I haven't timed anything, and I'll be back. I'll update it. I have timed, actually, I have. But initially, I just did the initial count, the first count, so it doesn't really count. Right now it's showing that I'm making 5.65, and the first time I did it recorded today was 1.82. Salt was 20.43, so I'm up in salt. And flour was 18.63, so I'm up in flour. Sugar was 129, and sugar is 139, and that's okay if it's excess because I can sell it, if they don't go over. Right now they're doing 10, and then 10 on standby, and then after 10, when it gets at 20, they'll sell. So milk, 25.86, and milk production has gone down. We'll see about the eggs in a second. Butter, 10.26 initially, 11.98 now. Batter, 3.75, and now it's 11.30. So that's gone up a lot. And these are my own calculations. I track this. I used to do hourly, couple hours, and initially the first few days, few weeks, just to make sure that it's all set up. And then at the end, I would gauge it like daily, once a day, just to see, if it averaged out. Wheat was 341 and now it's 368. So right now we're doing good. The last time I did this, the last results I got, a big difference. If this pans out and keeps where it is, the last time I did not have the water, so I lost a whole lot. But the last time I did this, the last count I had was 3.53 for cakes, and the batter was 11.3. Well, that's what it shows on here. On my end, 10.45. So it looks like eggs were 30. Butter was 21.42. So milk was 42. But the cakes, overall cakes, if it stays at 5.65, that's good, and it doesn't change for the next few days. Because before it would go from 3 or 5, and then it would jump down to 3 to 4. So we'll see how this takes. Yeah, I'm still not done. I have a few more spots I got to add in once I get my cake sale. And yeah. The biggest thing to do is get your first big sale, whatever that is. There's a spreadsheet online or on the Discord that you can look at on the community page where you can look at and see the value of each item. I think iron is the highest, pays the highest. Cake is pretty much the second. So if you can sell your first big 10. And that's what I was battling for the longest time was sugar, trying to just get that first cake sale made. And I did not do it the same way where you just go 1, 2, 3, step by step by step. I did reverse engineering, so I built up too much too quick, and then my workers and my lumberjacks and all these guys on the side had a hard time kind of functioning. So I had to really, really micromanage to get that first cake sale. And in the end, the big problem was, lesson learned, I did not have enough funds and I did not have the cakery set up. So I was having to go back and forth on the first cakery from batter to cakes, batter to cakes. So once I got that the second cakery set up and they could make their own cakes and I wouldn't have to interfere with their production, it seemed to go a lot faster. I just had to bite down and get enough funds for the second cakery so that they could get the sugar, because every 10 sugar would sell and sugar was being made, processed, produced so fast that I could not keep it on hand long enough for to switch back and forth. So I had plenty of energy. Let's see real quick. Oh, I can make some gasoline. So I've been battling these two right here because I want to get rid of this one, but this crude oil, this forklift driver is so fast that every time he makes petroleum, he fills it up. I've already had to delete this once, flush it once, and make it again because I went to the max and then I couldn't get any more in there. I probably could have sold some and then done it that way. And then the crude oil was full and I sold all the gasoline. Now I got to remake gasoline, so that's a battle trying to change this. And all I'm doing is bringing it down to the 2 oil pumps down to here. And once I'm done with this, I'll set it and forget it, and I will not have to monitor it. Maybe 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day, just to check on them. And that's what a manager, if you're in a managerial type work, this is what a manager wants to do. They don't want to sit here and focus on this for days on end, hours on end. They want the village, the town, the people to be self-sufficient. So that's kind of how I look at these types of pay-to-play games. I don't want to have to spend all my time doing it. I want to find a way that works better, and that's why they create NFTs, right? That's why they create NFTs. And nowadays they are encouraging, maybe not the weekly ones, but they're encouraging people to learn how to code, how to script. So, and that's not just on these games, that's on everything. If you learn how to code and script, then you're better. And how do I learn how to do that? I watch other people, I take notes, and the hardest thing to do is just do it. So when I learned how to do this, I watched a YouTube video and he walked me through it, and it was pretty easy to do. All you do is copy and paste, copy and paste. You go to Tamper Monkey, copy and paste, and if you don't put the code in right, then it doesn't work. And then you have to figure out why it doesn't work. And sometimes the coding changes depending on what's happening here, just like the town blew up last time and now we're remaking it. And now we've remade it. So for 31 days, this is what it's going to look like. Maybe a little bit different for my town. And the auto sale is still set up for 10 because I do not want to make more stores and I do not want to be full on my stores. So the eggs, the first time I played this, the eggs were I got 1 extra egg, which is good. The eggs freaking filled me up in my stores all the time. So I would have to sell them or dump them. But with the coding, I don't have to worry about it. I can focus on other things around my town rather than focusing on, okay, are the stores all full of eggs? Do I have to flush something? So that's another advantage of the scripting, is that you can focus on creating your town rather than focusing on every little thing, every little production. Like I can focus on collecting data for these and annotating it, right? Especially the first few days is very crucial. The first time I do the auto coding, all I do is the sugar for this. Sugar sales, sugar sales, sugar sales, so that I can focus on, once I get those sales, okay, then I can start building on, building on, building on. add windmills, add some more windmills, add some more windmills, and then eventually build up from, oh, that's such a long process. The farmhouse, all these were farmhouses, and all these were, they were farmhouses and they were loggers. Not these loggers. They were the lumberjacks, not the ones with the chainsaws. The ATVs, they weren't there. They were all just worker bees. So I didn't have a farm until recently because I left out the farm until the end because it takes so much maintenance, so much work. And I wanted, initially this was all sugar. I was just making sugar, sugar, sugar until I got that first, it was such a slow process. And that's why it was so slow, because they were all making sugar. It was just sugar, straight sugar. So every 10 would sell, and then I would build up, slowly, slowly build up to where I had 200,000, 250,000, 300,000, and then I would buy little by little enough to get my, cakes. And I almost sold my batter. That's how close it was. I didn't want to sell the batter, so I was going back and forth from the batter to the cake. But I almost sold the batter, and if I would have, I would have kicked myself because once I sold that first cake, over 1 million, and I built up the town to half of what you see now. And then that second cake sale, I really encapsulated the landscape. I paved all the roads so that they could pretty much run down the roads. And this is only 3 days in, so less than 3 days in, and this is fully functioning. I can set it and forget it. Once I get the timing down and I can see exactly how long. The last time I was doing this, it was about 6 hours. I could go somewhere for 6 hours and not really have to stress or worry about this, right? And I come back and I could shut it off, reset it, reboot it, refresh it, just to make sure. So this is the new season 2 continuation from the first Big Bang wipeout. Any comments? Hopefully you like this. Subscribe, like it if you like it. It's going to be on YouTube, and it's a lot of fun. The hardest thing is the first 3 days. So get past the first 3 days, couple days, and then it gets easier. Study people that know how to do this. This is only my second time doing it. If I consider, well, third time if we consider the blow up, because this was supposed to be a continuation from the first one, but it ended prematurely. So this is my second 2.5. So this is version 2.5. So it pays to take notes from a lot of people that actually do this stuff for a living and do this stuff. I make a living off this. I mean, I make town coin off it, not much. My rank right now is 123, so I was at 119. I'm moving back, which is fine. And I'm on server 2. The first time I played this, I was at, the second time I played this, I was at 60. So hope to get back in the top 100 again, which shouldn't be too hard. Let's see the bottom 10 real quick. Bottom 10, so 6,000 people are playing this now. And at the end of the last one, there was 14,000 people playing on this server. I think, no, I was on server 4, so this is a different server. But in the beginning, there was about 4,000, and now there is 6,000, so more people are jumping on. Some people are just playing for fun, having fun. I'm having fun. I mean, I'm learning a lot. And look at auto sales. When that pops up, sometimes it pops up and you're not ready for it. So when you push buttons, click buttons, it may interfere with some things. You may come back and your silo's gone or something, right? Because you pushed a button you shouldn't have there. So 85,000. My fuel is still. Am I making fuel? I am making fuel. So we are fixing up this mess. And the best thing about this is I'm setting up the stores. So literally, they just have to go right next door to get their products. And I think that works best. So I'm going to create another cakery here. I may put the cake making here in the middle, and the batteries on the sides, I do not know yet. But if you put it here, the best thing is that they don't need the energy. They get it from the power plants, so that's why I shifted the power plants down. And they literally just go from side to side. So kind of like her, she's going down and around here. I haven't figured out that part yet, how to combine them so they literally all have to walk across from each other. But I really like that if they would ever come out, you could see how they just open the door and they go from point A to point B and they walk back in their shop. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you like it. Food for thought. You know, make it easier, not harder, not more difficult. So with that, aloha, God bless.